So you're having a hard time letting go of something or someone, and I'm going to tell you why that is and why letting go actually makes you more attractive. So, attachment lives in the nervous system, okay? When we have an attachment to a person or an outcome or a relationship, that attachment lives in the nervous system because the closer we are to that thing or that person, the safer our nervous system feels, and that's where attachment lives. The key here is to detach from that person, that thing, that relationship, whatever it is. You detach by becoming aware of your nervous system and being able to heal and regulate your nervous system. So, I want to talk about codependency. What exactly is codependency? Now, if you have an anxious attachment style, there is a good chance that you have codependency, that you have codependency dynamics in your relationship. Not always. Someone with an anxious attachment style can also be a deep narcissist. That happens. But for the most part, if you have an anxious attachment style, you probably have codependent dynamics in your relationships. So what that means is, if you are a codependent, what that means is your sense of self-worth, your sense of happiness is tied to another person or tied to your relationship, meaning that you cannot feel safe, you cannot feel happy, you cannot feel a sense of worthiness unless you get validation from that person, from that relationship. And your happiness, your mood depends on their happiness. It depends on their mood, their validation towards you. And that's a very unhealthy dynamic to be in, because when you're in this codependent dynamic, you start to lose your own sense of self-worth. You lose your own identity because your identity is now tied to another person, and you don't want to let go of that person. That's why it's so hard to let go of that person or that relationship, whatever it is, because your sense of self-worth, your identity is now tied to that person, and you need to feel close to them. You need to be validated by them in order for your nervous system to regulate. So the key here is to actually let go, okay? Because that codependent dynamic, it's not very attractive, okay? When you tie your own identity to someone else, you have no identity. You've lost yourself, and that's unattractive. So this is why I'm saying letting go actually makes you more attractive. So, what exactly does that look like then? Letting go, okay, and becoming more attractive. Well, it starts with self-awareness. Okay, you need to be aware of this stuff. What's going on with your attachment wound and nervous system? But I want to get into emotional safety. Okay, because emotional safety is actually a superpower in life that we're all capable. We're all capable of creating emotional safety within ourselves. So, first, being aware that, okay, if you're in a codependent dynamic, if you have an anxious attachment style, you're tying your identity, your happiness, your mood to another person. That's what's going on. Be aware of that, and then start making some changes to create emotional safety. When you create emotional safety from within, then you no longer need that other person's validation. You no longer need to feel close to them in order to regulate your nervous system, because now you're doing it from within. You're creating that emotional safety from within. Whereas before, you were looking for safety from the other person. You were holding on to them. You were looking for their validation, for their affection, their attention. You needed to feel close to them to create a sense of emotional safety, which is an external factor. Okay, you're tying your emotional safety to another person, which it's not healthy to do that. So when now, once you've become aware of what's going on in this dynamic, and you start creating emotional safety within yourself, now you're creating emotional safety, independently. You no longer need the other person to feel emotionally safe. Now here's the good part. Okay, here's why this makes you so attractive. Okay, when you let go, when you can let go of that person, let go of their need for validation. I'm not saying I'm not saying ignore them completely, never talk to them again. That's not what I'm saying. It's going to be different for everybody. But what I'm saying is let go of them. Let go of the need for their validation. Um, and come back to yourself and start creating emotional safety within yourself. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what is so good when you do this. When you can create emotional safety within yourself, okay? When you can create emotional safety within yourself, it makes the other person feel safe. It makes everybody else around you feel safe. Now think about this. If you're constantly holding on to someone, chasing someone, you just won't let them go, they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe. You don't feel safe. And they don't feel safe. But when you can let go, respect your own independence, respect their independence, create emotional safety within yourself, and become present. Become present. Don't be so tied up in what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future. That's where anxiety lives. When you can create that emotional safety within yourself and be present and regulate your nervous system, it's going to make the other person feel safe. It's going to make your partner feel safe. It's going to make everybody around you feel safe because you've created that bedrock of emotional safety within yourself. And that is so attractive. And we've all been around someone, who just seems very calm and regulated and confident. They don't really need anything from us. And we're drawn into that, right? Because they have created emotional safety within themselves, and that is so attractive. And all of us are capable of doing this. It doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, anxious, avoidant. Everybody's capable of creating a bedrock of emotional safety within themselves. And you can do that independently. And it's so magnetic. It's so attractive because now you've let go of the need for this person or this outcome or this relationship, whatever it is. You've created emotional safety within yourself. And it's so magnetic. It's so attractive. People are going to be drawn into that. So that is why letting go actually makes you more attractive because emotional safety itself is attractive. So I hope this video was helpful. Please share your stories, your thoughts in the comments. Any questions, please share them and I'll get to them. You all take care and I'll see you in the next video.